And of course, when you hear that sound, you know it's time again for Capital Sports on NT Abuja Channel 5. I'm Bade Adeleye. And of course, this week on Capital Sports, we've got, many things to talk about. Let's start with Nigeria, from Nigeria, because the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, is insisting that there should be so many conditions that will be fulfilled for us to have the return of Nigeria Professional Football League. Remember that many things happened last season, in fact, most especially the loss of a player of Nasarawa United during a football match. And so they are trying to avoid all those things before we can have the season back in Nigeria. And of course, we're seeing so many Nigerian players moving from one club to the other because it's transfer season and the news is getting bigger each day. And of course, Chelsea, they're still very much in the news when it comes to transfers because they're about signing, another player, making it player number 7. What a season. In fact, what a transfer window they are having. We're now waiting for them to have a good season because many Chelsea fans are, like they will say in Nigeria, they are making out. All right, when you move, from football, you're going to talk about tennis. We saw what Serena Williams did at the U.S. Open, against her opponent, losing the first set and winning the second and third to progress to the semifinals. And of course, Brooks Koepka has withdrawn, from the U.S. Open. That's the golf tournament, for this year due to injury. So we're going to be talking about this and many more. And do not forget that the Premier League and La Liga will be back this weekend. A lot of things to talk about. All right, that will be the outline of the show today. And very soon I'll be joined by a sports analyst based in Abuja. But before we go on this quick break, let me let you know that you can stream with us. You can stream us live because Capital Sports is now live on our YouTube channel. That's NTA Channel 5. Just go to YouTube and say that, NTA Channel 5. You can tell your friends that cannot watch, that are not very close to a television set at the moment. They can do that on YouTube, NTA Channel 5 Abuja. Let's go on this quick break. And when we return, it will be time to talk about all these issues. Welcome again. All right, it's still Capital Sports coming to you on NT Abuja Channel 5. Now, let's welcome our guest on the show today. It's no other person than a friend of the family, Aliyu Usman, a sports analyst based in Abuja. Welcome, Aliyu, and good to have you on Capital Sports.
Thank you, buddy. And like you said, it's back home for me here.
Yeah.
This is where it all began. So I'm happy to be here. It's a homecoming.
All right, good to have you again, Aliyu. This man has experience when it comes to print, the print media, and radio, and of course television. So we're glad and very delighted to have him on the show today. All right, before we start the issues we have, before outlining them one by one and looking at the issues, let's quickly take the sports tidbits, which is going to whet our appetite for our discussions.
Hello there and welcome. Now let's go on a quick ride round the world of sports in 240 seconds. Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare insists league football in Nigeria will not resume until basic conditions on club licensing control are enforced. Dare says his desire to see the Nigerian league grow beyond the current state through proper licensing and financial control is unwavering. The minister believes the step is critical for building stakeholders' confidence following the reclassification of sports from recreation to business. Super Eagles midfielder Ogenekare Etebo has expressed delight at linking up with Galatasaray. Etebo will spend the 2020-2021 campaign at the Turkish Super League club after sealing a season-long loan deal from Stoke City on Wednesday. The 24-year-old spent the second half of last season on loan at Spanish club Getafe. Manchester United are close to making a breakthrough in their efforts to sign Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund, with progress made between United and Sancho's representatives on the issues of agent fees and personal terms. Chelsea are close to signing Rennes goalkeeper Edouard Mendy, with talks ongoing over a deal likely to be worth an initial £80 million as the Premier League club continues to search for a new number one. Arsenal are anticipating a third bid from Aston Villa for Emiliano Martinez as they hold out for close to £20 million for the goalkeeper. Action across Europe's top 5 leagues is set to get back underway this month, with strict contingency measures still in place due to the coronavirus pandemic. League action returns in England this weekend, with the encounter between Fulham and Arsenal live on NTA on Saturday. The new La Liga campaign kicks off on September 11 with NTA Sports Channel set to beam live matches. Caster Semenya says she will continue to fight for the human rights of female athletes after losing an appeal against new rules on the levels of testosterone now allowed in female middle distance runners. The double Olympic champion, who won gold in the women's 800 meters event at the London's Federal Supreme Court on Monday. Serena Williams kept alive her hopes of a record-equaling 24th Grand Slam singles title with a 4-6, 6-3, 6-2 win over Svetlana Pironkova in the US Open quarterfinals. The six-time champion struggled early on with the variety of shots from the unranked player, but recovered to claim the second and third sets. The 38-year-old will now play former world number one with a left knee injury, which saw him sidelined for 3 months last season, and also needed on-course treatment for his hip. And that will be all on Sports Tidbits for this week. Enjoy the rest of the show.
You'll be seeing the phone numbers on your screen, which will be, picking your calls very soon on the show. We want you to contribute, and do not forget you can also be part of the show on social media, and you're going to see the hashtag and the handles on your screen shortly. Right, I still have with me Ali Usman. I introduced him earlier. He's a sports analyst, and we're going to be talking about all these issues one by one, starting with the issue of the sports minister, still the financial commitment, the medical commitments, and all that as regards the crowd and, the code of the NPFL before we can have the season. Do you think that's the right move?
Yeah, of course it is. We cannot play football in isolation of the rest of the world. There are standard practices for professional football, and emphasis here on professional. This is a professional league. When you are resuming, therefore, every arrangement should be in place. Nothing should be left out. It shouldn't be short of anything. You made reference earlier to some of the challenges we had. We saw that Nasarawa United player part of the shortcomings in arrangements. Now that we are coming out of a global pandemic and we have seen the standard, what the practice has been everywhere else, we do not expect that our own resumption would be any different from what we have seen in every other place in the world, because this pandemic is real. It is not more real for people who are out there than it is for footballers. It's all the same. Therefore, I am happy that the minister is stamping his feet on these and making sure that there is a standard procedure and precaution that has to be taken to safeguard the players, officials, and I don't know, because it is the regulations are being released every day, so we do not know if fans are going to be allowed into the arenas. But if that would be the case, of course, there is also a regulation as to how that should be managed. So if he is on it, the Football Association, the Football Federation should also be on it, just as the league management company and the clubs themselves. So it's a matter of health, and it's better to be alive, than any other thing.
All right, a very quick one before we, leave the NPFL. Recently, we saw that, just like a week ago, the LMC signed a deal with another company to beam live the NPFL matches this season. How do you see that development?
Well, fantastic. It's part of what has been agitated for over the years. We need to see this league. This league needs to be visible and all of that. That the deals like this are getting struck tells us that when you do the right thing, the TV rights is a huge thing in football. And we know that once upon a time, things were going fine, we're at a certain level. And then now that we are trying to get back at that level where we can get a commercial deal for the league, it's fantastic. We only just need to see that both parties stick to the agreement, and then we don't come back having similar challenges that led to the abrupt end of similar deals that have been signed in the past. Both sides will now stick to it and honor the agreement according to how it's been done, how it's been reached, so that at the end of the day, both parties are happy. But this is a good one for the league, and then we hope that the visibility makes it more competitive eventually, means more money to the clubs themselves, mean we could see better management, we could see better remuneration for players, and better welfare in general. This is all we want to see.
All right. Thank you very much, Ali. And do not forget that, leaving Nigeria now, let's still talk transfers. And this time around is about a Nigerian player moving from a club that's the championship side, Stoke City, to Galatasaray in Turkey. For Etebo, Ogenekaro Etebo is the latter part of the season, in Spain last season, and now he has moved to Turkey to, play with Galatasaray. And the deal is for a season. And so Aliu, looking at the issue now, Etebo, if people do not really know what this guy is capable of, I think the Olympics, the 2016 Olympics, Rio Olympics, can be like a very good reference. Looking at, his star performance, even when, Nigeria got to the venue very well, beyond schedule. But this man, when he went to Stoke City, got to a point that was being, it was not part of the starting lineup for so many weeks. At the end of the day, he was able to secure, his move to Getafe. Now, he still cannot really play there. Now moving to Turkey, do you think is the right move? And secondly, is he, looking at his quality, should he be playing in the Turkish Super League?
That's what exactly my point is. When you leave the English Football League, irrespective of whether it's a championship, the level in the championship there is still high. The second tier of English football is still a very high level. And then he went to Getafe. I expected probably he'd stay in Spain, or I'd like to see him in the Bundesliga, or maybe even France, very nearby to England. But that didn't happen, and then he is going to the Super League in Turkey. That's my concern number one, the quality of the league there. But then I looked at the team he was going into, Galatasaray, a very historic team, which he acknowledged, while tweeting about his journey there. So it's a top team, and the kind of competition he will get there, would make up, for what I think is not so competitive a league. Nonetheless, Ogene Karo, like you have rightly said, sometimes he gets underappreciated. It's very workaholic, his work ethic is very high up there with the very best when you look at his positioning, the position he plays from. And I think that Galatasaray would provide him that platform to showcase himself. The Turkish league really is like a place where players go to rehabilitate themselves, particularly from the English league. Arsenal last season had to loan out Mohamed El Neni there. He did wonderfully well, and he's back now. Everybody expected him to be sold, but he's getting into the team. Emmanuel Adebayo went there to rehabilitate himself.
Yeah.
Mikel Obi went there to retire or play for pension, and all of those things. So if he is going there and he put in the work the way we know he is capable of, it may be another platform for him to showcase himself to any one of the clubs in mainstream Europe. That's how I see it.
All right, beautiful there. We're wishing Ogene Karetebo all the best in the new season in Turkey. Now, still talking transfers. Let's start, we'll have started with Chelsea, but let's leave them for now. Let's go to Manchester United and talk about Jadon Sancho. Because Sancho, we understand that Manchester United are very to agreeing a deal with Borussia Dortmund. But most Manchester United fans are always coming out and saying, what are you talking about? It's still the same thing. So far, a deal has not been struck. It's still no news. We know that they've been close to agreeing this for years, so there's no need talking about this. But, but that's the situation now. Agent fees and, salary, personal terms, all those things have been agreed. But the main fee with Borussia Dortmund is yet to be agreed. Now let's move to Stamford Bridge and talk about Chelsea, because when it comes to the transfer league, they are leading, but we're waiting for them to take that to the new season. All right, Chelsea are very much close to signing a new player. This time a goalkeeper, Edouard Mendy from Reims, that's in France. We understand that the player could go for about £80 million, a fee that could rise to £25 million. But one thing that Chelsea fans are celebrating already about this man is it's very tall, so maybe that's going to be another Van der Sar, in the Premier League. But Chelsea fans, they really do not want Kepa Arrizabalaga, so they want another goalkeeper there. And we understand that, Frank Lampard himself, and Peter Cech actually recommended the player for Chelsea Board to, go after. And of course, let's talk about another goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez. That's the Arsenal goalkeeper, the man that stood in when Leno was not fit when he was injured. And so many Arsenal supporters have been saying this is a better goalkeeper. Some are saying no, it's not this man. It's just a very good option when the number one choice is down. But now, since Arsenal, they need money, they are trying to, get the cash and sell this man. But for Aston Villa, one news there is that Aston Villa, their record, signing is worth £28 million. And Arsenal now want them to pay £20 million for a goalkeeper. Aliu, look at it. Their best player, the biggest transfer they've done is £28 million. They now want them to pay £20 million for a goalkeeper.
You have to put it in context of the reality that the football world is now and where Aston Villa is. Not a big club these days, So you have rightly pointed out how well Emiliano Martinez had done after, Leno got that injury. He's one of the best in the business when you go by his most recent outings. And for 20 million for a player of his standing today is still just, an average fee. The Arrizabalaga, whom Chelsea is trying to discard like he belongs in the trash, costs somewhere near £75 million. And so when you consider the two, the quality, the value that either of these two goalkeepers can add to you, and you are being asked to pay 20 million for Emiliano Martinez, who is 28, a ripe age